Welcome to this explainer on the complete guide to network segmentation. Okay, let's just dive right in. Today we are unpacking exactly how large organizations actually stop cyber attacks from spreading like wildfire across their systems. We're going to break down literally one of the most effective cybersecurity strategies in existence.
To really wrap our heads around this, I want you to imagine a physical office building. Say a criminal managed to bust through the front doors of your company's headquarters. Would you want every single internal door, every department, and every corporate safe to be sitting there completely unlocked? I mean, probably not, right? But surprisingly, that is exactly how so many computer networks are designed today. Once an attacker gets past that initial perimeter, they can essentially just roam the halls. They can move freely from one device to another, stealing data, spreading malware, the whole shebang.
So, think about it. Without internal walls, anyone who gets in just walks right into your confidential operations. But when you segment that building, protecting departments with locked doors and key cards, only the authorized people get through. Network segmentation applies that exact same physical security logic directly to your digital infrastructure.
At its core, network segmentation is basically just dividing a single computer network into smaller, isolated sections. We call these sections segments. And each of these individual segments gets its own specific security policies and access controls. So instead of letting every laptop, server, and printer just chat freely with each other by default, segmentation makes sure that digital communication only ever happens when it's strictly necessary and explicitly authorized.
Now, the specific threat we're trying to neutralize here is something called lateral movement. You see, cyber attacks rarely ever just stop at the very first device they compromise. Once an attacker gets inside your network, their next move is almost always to move laterally. They start quietly sneaking around, searching for your most sensitive systems, stuff like file servers, databases, email systems. In an unsegmented network, literally one single infected laptop in, say, the marketing department could expose your entire organization's database.
But by implementing segmentation, you actually trapped that attacker in a highly limited area. This is huge because it drastically reduces your attack surface, giving you vastly better protection for your sensitive info, and hey, it even improves your regulatory compliance. Plus, on the IT side of things, it makes monitoring and troubleshooting so much easier, which means a way faster incident response time. Honestly, it's the exact reason why massive entities, hospitals, universities, government agencies fundamentally rely on this just to survive. All right, so how does this actually look in a real company? Let's picture an organization that has finance, HR, sales, IT, a data center, and maybe a guest Wi-Fi network. Instead of dumping everyone onto one giant chaotic network, we isolate them. We put each department into its own separate segment. Finance can access accounting systems, sure, but they are completely blocked from poking around in HR servers. Guest Wi-Fi users can browse the internet, but there is absolutely no way they can communicate with internal company devices. By using tools like firewalls, routers, and access control lists, we enforce a super strict need-to-know rule for communication.
To actually build these digital walls, we rely on a few core strategies. First up is physical segmentation. This is where you literally use completely separate hardware and cables for different networks. It's super secure, but it can get incredibly expensive. Next is VLAN segmentation, or virtual local area networks. This logically divides devices on the exact same physical switch. So, say, VLAN 10 is finance, VLAN 20 is HR. Then we've got firewall-based segmentation, where firewalls are acting like bouncers, aggressively inspecting traffic and only letting specific ports and protocols through. And finally, microsegmentation. This is the modern approach where individual servers or virtual machines get their very own unique security policies. You'll see this a lot in modern cloud environments and zero-trust setups.
Okay, to really understand why this matters on a human level, let's step into a high-stakes scenario. Imagine a modern hospital. Just think about all the radically different systems operating under one roof at the exact same time. You've got highly sensitive patient records, incredibly complex medical imaging machines, lab equipment, pharmacy systems, office computers, and the completely open public Wi-Fi sitting right there in the waiting room. The difference between an unsegmented and a segmented hospital here is literally the difference between catastrophic failure and contained risk. In a hospital without segmentation, say a visitor accidentally downloads malware on that public Wi-Fi. That malware could potentially spread straight into critical medical equipment or highly confidential patient databases. Absolute worst-case scenario. But with proper segmentation, the public Wi-Fi is entirely walled off.
Medical devices are locked down so they only talk to pre-approved systems. Even if that visitor's phone is compromised, the attacker is trapped. They're hitting a massive brick wall before they can even get close to the critical stuff.
So how do you actually pull this off in your own environment? Let's get you the blueprints. First things first, you have to identify your critical assets before you even sketch out your segments. Next, actively separate your human users, your servers, guests, and your IoT devices, like those smart thermostats or security cameras. Apply the principle of least privilege, meaning basically nothing gets access to anything unless it absolutely needs it to do its job. Also, you've got to continuously monitor the traffic between these segments, keep your firmware fully updated, and review your rules regularly because, let's face it, your company is always evolving.
But just as important as knowing what to do is knowing what not to do. You've got to watch out for these common pitfalls. I've seen organizations go through all the trouble of creating network segments, and then they accidentally leave unrestricted communication flowing right between them, which completely defeats the entire purpose. Other fatal mistakes? Mixing sensitive servers and guest devices on the same network, using overly broad firewall rules, or just leaving unused network ports sitting there active. Oh, and a huge one, ignoring those IoT devices. An unsecured office printer can literally be the perfect Trojan horse if it isn't properly segmented away from your core data.
At the end of the day, network segmentation is really about acknowledging that breaches can, and honestly probably will, happen, and proactively limiting the damage when they do. By dividing your network into secure, expertly managed sections, you're hitting three ultimate goals. You dramatically reduce the impact of an attack, you get way better visibility into what's actually happening on your network, and you ultimately strengthen your organization's total resilience. Whether you're running a small boutique office or a massive global enterprise, network segmentation just absolutely has to be a foundational part of your cybersecurity strategy.
Which brings us to a final, vital check-in regarding your own digital infrastructure. We've talked about the walls, the keycards, the isolated rooms. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought to examine your own environment today. The front door to your business might be locked up tight, but how secure are the doors inside your network,